I think there needs to be more emphasis placed on education issues in this campaign. Education is so intrinsically entwined into so many of the issues that we're talking about, whether it's the economy, whether it's foreign policy. You need to have an educated citizenship to be able to debate and talk about these issues intelligently and accurately. But right now, our system is failing us. We are always burdening our children with debt. We aren't concerned about investing into the future. We're concerned about shackling them to all of the poor policies that we have been putting into place today and now. If we can become more future-oriented, then we wouldn't do a lot of these things. Our lawmakers, our executives, they would realize what we're doing to our children. The problem is, our children, they don't have advocates. They don't have lobbyists. They don't vote. It makes me angry. If I were a citizen, I would demand that we would have an investigation in the education policies and practices in this country. I mean, we have 9/11 commissions. We had something on Hurricane Katrina, which were horrible tragedies. But being unable to educate our children in a consistent way and providing the same opportunities, that's an even bigger tragedy. Voters are self-interested by nature. We're going to vote for individuals that will put forth our agenda first. I need to get my Social Security first. I need to have lower oil prices now so that I can drive to work. And that's valid. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But we also need to be more future-sighted as well if we really want to develop a nation that's not only prosperous today, but prosperous tomorrow. It's not idealistic. It's American. We look at the Constitution. We say everyone has the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. In this country, to be able to have those opportunities, you need to be educated. You need to have the chance to go to some of these top colleges to get these economic opportunities. We talk big about education, but we do very little about that. We don't think of innovative solutions. We just regurgitate the same ideas over and over again. If we really want to make a change in education, then we really need to think about new ideas. The United States was one of the first countries in the world to institute a public education system. We just haven't evolved that system since that time in the early 1900s. We do not need to throw more money at education. The U.S. spends more money on each student than any other country in the world. We spend over $12,000 educating each child. The question I want to put forth to everyone then is, where are all these dollars going? The big problem with education, in my opinion, is that so much of it is run on the local level. It's like having millions of feudal lords and no real strong central structure. No Child Left Behind works for those parents that take advantage of the money that's available. But if you look at the numbers, they're startling. Only around 17 to 20% of the parents take advantage of the federal money that's available for tutoring services. And those families that do take advantage of the tutoring services, their children's scores, they do improve. To me, it's clear that the middle class are the ones that are most affected by the downturn in this economy right now.
How so?
You look at the news, you hear about school buses not running, taking their children to school because of rising gas prices. You hear about schools shutting down a couple days out of the year because of the rising utility prices. I've talked to principals, and a lot of these families are cutting back on various activities because they can't get transportation, because either the mom is now going back to work, or the dad, who may have been stay at home, is going back to work, or they can't get the right transportation, again, because of these rising fuel prices. So everyone is feeling the pinch in the middle class. They care deeply about education. They understand that education is the vehicle to future opportunity. But right now, because of these economic concerns, they're having to make sacrifices and not allowing their children to realize better opportunities for the future because of present conditions today. And you see a lot of parents going to get private tennis coaches, private baseball coaches, soccer coaches, football coaches, so that they can have that opportunity to make the team, because there are limited spots available to the children that want to go to these top schools. And so, to keep up with the upper class, who have always been spending money on these extra tutors, whether they be in private school or public school, is something that they realize is a sacrifice that they're willing to make. They definitely care about education. They understand the importance of it. A lot of the middle class parents are in this rat race, and they don't want their child to suffer from that same fate. They really want them to get out, get to those good colleges, get to those good jobs, become professionals, whether it's lawyers, doctors, or other PhD related type professions. They want them to see those future opportunities. So right now, it is a tight squeeze for them, absolutely. What I am in favor of is providing an education bill of rights or an education constitution guaranteeing certain points, certain rights that every child should have in terms of education opportunity so that they can realize their own American dream. That's the base minimum that we should be able to guarantee each and every citizen in this country. Our schools are not broken. This country has a great education philosophy in nurturing the child. We have great curriculum already out there in place. We have great teachers. We're just not implementing all these things in the most correct and efficient manner possible. Our schools are not failing. This country has great education philosophy. We have great curriculum already designed and available to these schools. And I would say we even have great teachers out there for our students.
Well, then what is failing?
What the problem is the implementation. The U.S. spends almost $12,000 educating each child in the public school systems. That's more than any other country in the world, yet we don't see the best results. The question I have is, where are these dollars going? Typically, you have 3 elementary schools feeding into 2 middle schools and 2 middle schools feeding into 1 high school. So when you get to the middle school and high school level, there are very few choices because geographically speaking, these parents can't get these students to some of the schools in the more affluent or better school districts. People have already been geographically placed out of these quality schools. But it shouldn't be that difficult to provide a baseline, consistent education system regardless of wealth. The economy is definitely hurting the middle class families the most right now. I've talked to principals. They're talking about how a lot of their middle class families are cutting back on a lot of extracurricular activities. You see it in the news, schools closing to cut back on utility costs, buses providing less transportation because of rising fuel costs as well. A lot of the parents that are coming into our centers who would normally enroll both their children are only enrolling one of their child. Or if they have trouble in reading, writing, and math, they're only getting help in one subject instead of all 3. So you definitely see a cutback in the spending by the middle class. If Thomas Jefferson were alive today, however, he would be shocked